if it comes out 2 years from now that the FBI did something untoward or even illegal in regarding this Hunter Biden laptop story with Facebook or Twitter, there is a 0% chance that everyone's going to throw their hands up and say, oh, well, the reason they did that with the Hillary. Obviously I agree that the Democrats, party and Democrat politicians and a lot of Democrat voters are obviously completely, as are Republicans, as are everyone in these political conversations. No one really generally holds to a consistent standard of, whether someone did something right or wrong. It's all just tribalism. It's, let me look at, if someone in my in-group is accused of doing something bad, let me look at them with the utmost charitability. If someone in the out-group is accused of doing something bad, let me assume, like, everything is in the most negative light possible. And that's what I contend we're seeing right now with the Twitter files story. And I'm just saying, I'm just trying to be as neutral as possible, which was the exact same standard I gave with the Russia investigation with Donald Trump, where I kept saying, wait and see, wait and see, wait and see. And that's all I'm saying. In terms of, the FBI's involvement with this Hunter Biden story, and I think we're just kind of like repeating ourselves because we've kind of reached the wall.
Hell yeah, you are.
I'm just going to make the exact same claim I made with the Trump-Russia investigation. We'll just wait and see. Wait until all the Twitter files are leaked. Wait until, if anything shakes out of that, we'll see if the Republicans do any. I'm sure the Republicans, when they get the House, are going to try to do some investigations, and we'll find out. We'll see if there's a smoking gun or not. So I'm going to exist in limbo for now until I feel comfortable that I see something.
Yeah, you don't think we're like Sam Harris here, right? Like we're in favor of hiding the laptop story. Like I wish they would have investigated when it happened. So
yeah, and I actually wish that the Hunter Biden laptop didn't have all the dick pics in the drug use and the prostitutes, because that completely detracts from what you said,
right,
which is the actual story.
Yeah.
Is, when he said he's giving 10% up to the big guy, what does that mean?
We want to know the answer.
Joe Biden? Is Hunter Biden actually getting money, and giving it to his father? That's a big fucking deal.
Or
that
was
should be investigated and looked at. So.
Or was the big guy Hunter Biden's nose, and he was just snorting 10% of the cocaine that went through his hands?
10% goes to his cocaine.
Yeah, 10% goes to the big guy.
Now, I will just
it's
say
unfortunately, it's the same thing with the Trump P tape. It's like whatever the salacious part of the story is, that's what gets all attention, and all the kind of more important things kind of fall to the wayside.
But I will say, though, I think that it's not an unreasonable position to take, that we'll just wait and see. The problem with this is twofold, though. One, oftentimes the people you're waiting on are the very people that are implicated. So we're going to wait and see what sort of communications we can get from the FBI or Yul Roth. Yeah, I understand that Republicans are going to be having an investigation, but most of these investigations still rely at some level at cooperation with the people that they're looking into.
Sure,
for example,
but,
all we have to do is
proven guilty. I mean, Elon Musk bought Twitter. If he can't find it, then I don't know who can find it.
But he can only find it if it was done through official Twitter communications on email. If it was done on phone call or done in-person meetings with the FBI, what's he going to find?
Well, how else are we going to find it then?
Well, we won't. And if we just say, well, we're always waiting for the smoking gun before we call this stuff out, and that leads to the second problem, which is oftentimes by the time we find this stuff out, everyone throws up their hands and goes, well, it's too late now. What are we going to do? Which is exactly what happened with the Russiagate and the Hillary investigation. Oh, well, a couple people that were there got fired from the FBI. And anyways, now we can trust the FBI moving forward.
Right. No, and that is fair that there is this, sit on it and then they don't do anything about it. And I agree that it shouldn't happen, and they should still go back and they should still prosecute the people that, deleted the Hillary emails and blah, 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 blah. I agree with all that. But my problem is with the first part of what you said, which is that if Elon can't find it, and if no one can find it because, say hypothetically, all these meetings were off record, verbally, and there's literally no evidence of it, well, then no one can we can't draw conclusions about it because there's literally no evidence about this stuff.
You might not be able to draw conclusions to the level of beyond reasonable doubt to prosecute someone, but you're certainly well within your rights to draw conclusions on what most likely the preponderance of evidence is.
Do whatever you want. I think it's foolish to do so. I think it's too easy to fall prey to your pre-existing biases if that's what we're going to do.
Well, think about it this way, right? Let's say that you leave Adam house sit for you, right? And you come
No,
home and you
please stop.
I would never do that.
He steals all of your, Vienna sausages or whatever you have in the cupboard, right?
Adam,
So
those were for Oktoberfest.
so delicious.
Yeah.
And then the next month he house sits and he steals them again. And then the third month,
Look,
that's
such bad thinking, man. That's just complete. It's
Well, I
horrible
mean, that's
thinking
not
because
really
there's
comparable to what.
yeah, there's different people in the institution. It's not the same people. It's a fucking, that's such bad. No, stop.
we do
And actually,
this as
it'd be more like, using your hypothetical, it'd be more like, I have Adam house sit for me, and when he comes back, he stole my Vienna sausages. And I'm like, oh, Adam, you stole my Vienna sausages. And he comes up with some wild story about how a raccoon broke into the house, and really, that's the culprit. And then, 2 months later, I noticed that all my Vienna sausages are gone. And I say, oh, Adam must have broke into my house while I was here and stole all my Vienna sausages. It's like, well, you can't make that claim.
Yeah.
You could think that it's most likely. And if you start to see things that start to lead to that, such as, well, my Ring doorbell shows Adam was walking in,
if there was evidence,
but then you would have the smoking gun, and we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right, then we wouldn't be having
this
conversation.
Gun. Well, it's not a smoking gun.
Video
Adam walking
evidence
into my house, and then the sausage is going gone the next day. Or...
He's bringing your mail.
He's
bringing your mail in.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
So that's not a smoking gun.
He was just bringing my mail in, and it took him like 10 minutes to leave the house.
He had to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Right? Like, it's not. There's very few things that are a smoking gun.
Even evidence of corruption, consistent corruption, doesn't mean every single interaction involves corruption, though. I mean,
or it doesn't involve corruption in the way in which it's being expressed.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So
you can't blame people from defaulting to
false positives. Yes, I can.
Here's the problem: everyone defaults in the way that serves their political narrative.
Of course, yeah, that's
what I blame.
You don't operate your life like this. You don't. I know you don't.
What do you mean?
I do.
Like
what are you talking
about? The boy that cried
about?
wolf. You're saying the fifth time that he cries wolf, every single time you're like, let's think of this analytically. Just because he's lied to us every time this week, this time he could be telling the truth. So I don't want to come to a false positive thinking he's lying. So I will analyze.
I literally did that about both Trump and this. So I'm obviously not falling prey to my political biases in this situation.
Well, it doesn't matter.
I have the exact same criteria.
This isn't following political biases, right?
That's literally what this is covered.
Yes,
what I'm saying is that
for 6 hours we've been following political biases.
Yes, about the FBI, the media, all of these institutions. Right. But I'm saying you could think of that situation differently when it comes to an institution that you have some sort of bias to, because you assume that it's some upstanding institution like
all
the FBI.
Institutions all institutions are susceptible to corruption. Because instances of corruption happen does not mean the entire institution has always been corrupt and will always be corrupt going forward. Well, then what are you saying? That it's not a pattern.
It means that going forward, you can't just automatically everything.
It means that going forward, you do your best to limit their ability to have bad outcomes based on that corruption and bias. And when you see evidence to suggest that it's bringing up again the same pattern you saw, you could say that
it's just looping
logical conclusion.
But that's the problem, is that I don't agree. The things that you're saying, this is evidence that they did.
It's not evidence.
Evidence of doing.
So it's not evidence. You don't buy. So Yoel Roth mentioning that he was having a hack and leak rumor that came from the FBI about Hunter Biden. That's not evidence.
It's evidence that he should be called to testify and expound on whatever the fuck that happened there. But it's not evidence of the claim that the FBI told Twitter that it was fake news and that it was.
It doesn't matter if they specifically said it was fake news. What matters is
what they said. Wait, what they said matters. What they specifically told Yoel Roth is super important.
Again, Adam already gave the definition of this. They could speak in legalese in order to imply what they want to have happen, but not meet the legal definition of some sort of crime or some sort of lie or something like that.
I'm not even talking about that. I think there's like a 1% chance that no matter what happens, that some information will come out of this that will lead to anyone being arrested. I'm not even talking about that. I'm not even talking about, using legalese or whatever. I'm just talking about what exactly did the FBI say to Yoel Roth That's all I want.
Let's break it down real simply. Do you think that around the time of the election, like several months before the election, do you think at that time in 2020 that the FBI knew that this wasn't a hacked laptop?
I have no idea.
Adam
How long do they
already
have
said
the
he knew
laptop
they knew.
for? How long do they have the laptop for?
Since 2019.
Then I would assume they knew that it was. I would assume if they had the laptop, well, not that it was.
They knew everything about the laptop.
I would assume if they had the laptop, they knew it was true.
They knew months
not necessarily
in advance,
whether it was hacked or not.
What do you mean whether it was hacked?
How did they get the laptop?
What do you mean? They knew
given.
They knew the source of the laptop from the very beginning. Yeah.
Right. They knew it wasn't hacked. They knew it was left at the computer shop. The computer repairman talked to them.
Look, what's the...
Okay, so if they knew that...
What do we argue about here?
Listen, if
the FBI had the laptop from 2019 and they said, okay, we confirmed that this information is real. We've confirmed that, that it came from this shop that the person said it came from. And then they turn around and they tell Twitter that it didn't or that they don't know. Then that's the FBI, doing.
But let's use the language that Yoel Roth uses. What if they told Yoel Roth there is a rumor?
This is getting tedious. We should move on.
Repeating ourselves. I'm just saying
over and over and over again. I feel like
we could.
This is Groundhog Day.
But I think that it's evident to anyone who's listening to this objectively that what follows then is if the FBI said that there was a rumor,
anyone listening objectively, it's like
no. But here's the problem.
You're wrong.
You say what you just said. You say it to someone who's on the left, and they're going to say that doesn't prove anything. You say it to someone on the right, and they're going to say that proves everything. It's not an objective thing. This is just people being driven around by their political biases. There's no objective thing within a mile of this conversation.
And I will accuse you now. You think that because of your bias on the story. That's why you think that. You think that
I have zero bias. I don't have a strong feeling about the FBI one way or the other.
Your bias is that you choose to not believe these things because you think that it's some level of conspiracy theory. So you default to saying, unless I get a smoking gun, I'll always say that there is a possible explanation.
No. That's your bias. Here's the problem. Okay.
My bias is that I don't know whether or not it's true.
I think, I understand what happened. What I said about people looking at this from a left or right wing perspective, I'm not impugning you specifically, Rob. I'm just saying in general, because you made a general claim about, I think if people in general look at this objectively. So I'm not attacking you. So, because I don't think that you should attack me, because as I said, in terms of me like assuming there's some sort of conspiracy, I already talked about it. I saw the things that the FBI did regarding the Russian investigation, and I said, yeah, that's really fucking bad, and there should be consequences for that. I didn't sit here and put my fingers in my ears and say, blah, 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 this is just a conspiracy. I didn't stick my fingers in my ear and say, blah, 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 this Twitter thing's nothing big, it's a conspiracy. So you can't accuse me of operating under that logic in this situation.
We said investigate. I said I was upset that they didn't that they buried the story during the election. Like, you're completely mischaracterizing our positions.
I'm not. Your position, you tell me if I'm wrong about this. One, the FBI damn well knew that this laptop wasn't hacked or leaked.
The FBI knew about the laptop. Yeah, the FBI knew about the laptop. We're talking about whether or not
if it's true that Yoel Roth said someone from the FBI told him there was a rumor that there was going to be a hack and leak about Hunter Biden.
That's not.
What are we even talking about here? Like, what is the point of all this?
I think it's pretty clear. You don't think that's clear? If the FBI knew it wasn't hacked or leaked, but they told social media that it was potentially hacked.
If that happens, we don't know what the thing that you're even citing. It's not even a direct quote. It's just a statement. That's why I'm saying get Yoel Roth to go on record to say what the fuck happened. I don't see why it's such a big deal to just wait for him to say what happened. Why is it everyone's like, oh my God, I have to jump on board and make all these fucking determinations so that my audience gets so riled up because that's what people want to hear. I'm just saying, wait to see what he fucking says. Drag him before Congress, see what he fucking says before we jump to this fucking conclusion. It's not that big a deal.
You could wait and you'll do the exact same thing that you did when they waited with the FISA-gate information and the Hillary. You'll say, yeah, that was bad. And anyways, look, Democrats won another election. I choose to be proactive and call out corruption when I see it. You choose to allow the corruption to fester for years. And
that's the exact same. That's the exact same attitude that led for all the people to make all the conclusions they did about Donald Trump. I had the same fucking argument. I had literally. You're saying I had literally the same argument with 1,000 Democrats who all said, "Sitch, you can't wait. You can't wait for the Mueller investigation. It'll be too late. Trump will already sold out about the Russia. Trump will do this, blah, 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 blah. I said, I don't give a shit. That's the fucking system that we live in. That's what we have to do. We can't make these fucking jumping to conclusions. And guess what? I was fucking right about the Trump-Russia investigation.
Yeah.
I'm glad I waited. So I'm going to wait on this one and say, I'm waiting to see what the fuck comes out of this, and I'm not going to jump these fucking conclusions. And if it turns out that the FBI was telling fucking Mark Zuckerberg and fucking Jack Dorsey that they should fucking censor the story, then I'm going to be right there in the bandwagon saying, what the fuck? This is one of the biggest fucking travesties of all time. But until that happens, I'm going to say, I don't know. And I think that's a totally fucking fair position to have.
This was a justification for Russiagate too. This is exactly the same justification for Russiagate.
And this is oftentimes what people will do, right? They'll defend sort of institutional corruption or the downplaying of it by saying,
look, now I'm getting ready to kick you. I really am getting ready to kick you. I hate that this goes this way, but look, you're sitting here accusing us of being like in favor of institutional corruption. Fuck you. Fuck off.
This is what you'll do. Adam Sitch, can you point me to any shows that you've had in the past 2 years that talked about serious consequences that occur to the FBI based on their lying?
All we talk about is institutional corruption.
Okay, so what was your recommendation?
The FBI specifically? I mean, we don't really talk about the FBI.
That's strange. It's almost like it's exactly as I predicted. Well, because it's almost like it's exactly as I predicted.
Well, no, 99%. Wait.
Dude, we invited you on the show to tell us about the FBI.
Stop. We spend the overwhelming majority of our time talking about culture war shit. We're not talking about the FBI. So that's not evidence of fucking anything.
Well, not only that, we invited you on for 6 fucking hours to teach us about this shit. That doesn't count.
No, I'm not. This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you won't talk about it. I'm saying this is what will happen. That by the time we get to the bottom of these 2-3 years later, and the corruption is made public, as Sitch is
all these accusations.
Can you
What's going on?
The point? Can you let me?
What's going on with all these accusations? Can you just make the point without accusing us of being some institutional shills?
I'm not.
I feel like we've been very, very amicable to you, but you're making all these accusations about us, which is just, it's unfair.
I don't think that my accusations have been any less amicable than your accusations of me.
What accusations did we make?
For example, I'm doing the same thing as the people did on the Russiagate side of things. That I'm jumping to conclusions. That I'm gish galloping. I'm possibly bad faith, possibly not. Right? I don't have a problem with it. Did they not
make the exact same? I said that this is the kind of thinking that led to Russiagate. I wasn't accusing you of
This is what annoys me, Rob. I defended you to everyone, okay? I said I don't think Rob's coming here in bad faith, blah blah blah. And I think I've been like incredibly fair in this conversation, even if we disagree. And then when you started to say started attacking me, I said, wait a minute. I think there's been a miscommunication. I'm not implying that you're politically biased in this situation, Rob. But it just seems like at some point, right after that happened, you just thrown all the good faith out the window, and now you're just accusing me of just being like, oh, I'm just some kind of political shill. And when all this comes out in 2 years, Sitch is going to say whatever and just pass the buck around.
Yeah, of course.
And I just don't appreciate that. When I thought we were having I thought the conversation was fine. I don't know how it suddenly just plummeted into this fucking ravine.
My point is this: It has nothing to do with whether you're a bad faith actor or anything like that. The problem is when you wait for smoking gun proof from institutions that we see will intentionally drag their feet, such as the FBI, such as the Democratic Party, just like they did with the Hillary investigation, just like they did with the FISA warrant investigation. What happens is 3 years from now, when it finally comes out and elections have been decided and all these things, you will inherently say that's not the biggest story that's
what happens when you don't wait. What happens when you don't wait for evidence and you run into the next Russiagate, though?
What happens is that you use the best available evidence that you have in order to
that's what they did with Russiagate.
Did they? What was?
Wait, hold on.
What was the best available?
What do you think? Okay, knowing what we supposedly know regarding regarding FBI and Twitter, what should happen?
There should be. First off, we should all be outraged and see that the cover-up that's occurring based on the preponderance of evidence, what we see is most likely happen, that the Democrats and major people in the mainstream media are seeking to cover this up now. Right. So they should be out. Second, there should be an investigation trying to get to the bottom of being able to prove it. But in order to make those investigations effective, politics is downstream of culture. And so one of the things we need to do as a culture, as individuals, is to start to call out institutional bias, double standards, and corruption when we see it.
Based on evidence.
Which I am outlining evidence that we see that makes it the most likely situation. If we say we cannot jump, we cannot make those sorts of conversations until we have 100% smoking gun proof, what happens is nothing is ever proved in a timely manner. We're not in Russiagate because in Russiagate there wasn't.
So your argument is that we should all basically forego
evidence
being fair, I guess, or neutral on things until we have evidence, because we need to have investigations, something which we can do when we're neutral, which I already said we were in favor of doing. So I don't even know what the fuck we're arguing about, because your solution is literally my solution. I'm just saying I wish as a society and I wish as people, though I know this is like fucking impossible. I know this is an impossible task because everyone's literally biologically programmed to be tribal. It's just I wish people could just be neutral about things until we actually knew. Because I know that at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter what the investigation is going to go, because people on the left are going to say, blah, 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 it doesn't matter. And people on the right are going to say, blah, 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 it doesn't matter. Everyone's going to follow their own fucking narrative at the end of the investigation, except for like the 10 people in the world who give a shit about what actually happened. So I don't understand what is the fucking energy about this? If you agree with me, the solution is the same, just to have an investigation.
The solution's not the same, because your solution would be we have an investigation, and until then we don't say what is likely to have occurred. I say that what happens is that investigation, there is not public pressure for that investigation to occur in a serious and timely manner with serious punishment and justice meted out to the people, just like we could see time after time with slow-walked investigations we saw with the Hillary investigation, with Russiagate, with all of these other things. By the time it comes to light, the conspiracy theorists ended up being right, and the elections have been decided, and people are like, well, what do you want to have happen? Comey's gone now, good enough. What can we do now? Oh, well, it's over. And that's exactly what will happen with this situation. We'll have 2 years of feckless Republican investigations into this that will be slow-walked by the FBI and by people at these companies. Hopefully Elon Musk could do something about it. But then even if the worst happens, you might legitimately be on here being like, man, that was fucking ridiculous. The FBI did that, but nothing will be done. The majority of the public will have moved on. Just like, and all I could go on is by what I see here. Like, Sitch, you seem to sincerely believe that the FBI investigation of Hillary was fucked up, but it's like, oh, well, what do we do about it now? And that's what I'm saying is going to happen. That's why we need the public to be outraged now, specifically when these stories are trying to be covered up and you're being called a conspiracy theorist for just pointing out where the facts most likely go.
Okay, so with the Twitter story, there's if it comes out 2 years from now, okay, that the FBI did something untoward or even illegal in regarding this Hunter Biden laptop story with Facebook or Twitter, there is a 0% chance that everyone's going to throw their hands up and say, oh, well. The reason they did that with the Hillary Clinton thing was because she lost the election, so no one gave a shit. Yeah. But with Twitter, it's going to continue to exist going forward in the future, as is the FBI. And you better believe that that's going to be a huge fucking deal 2 to 3 years from now. So I don't think that, in my mind, that's not like an actual concern that I see materializing in the future. It's going to be a big fucking deal whenever that comes out.
Unless President Braden is gone, then no one's going to give a fuck,
We can agree to disagree, but I guess we'll find out. We'll reconvene 2 to 3 years from now and find out.
If President Brandon is gone, no one will give a fuck, right? Because it's like about the Hunter laptop.
When Donald Trump is president again because he stormed the White House with Nick Fuentes and Kanye. He suspended the Constitution. Then we'll have this conversation and we'll see where we are in the future.
Right. I agree with Adam here. I think that
what's up with all the accusations, man? Why can't we just keep it cool?
Well, because you're taking personal grief. I still stand by what I said. When I'm saying bias, you assume I'm saying it in a manner that says like you're being bad faith. I'm not. I'm saying your bias of this sort of way of viewing the world.
You have not, like, what are you talking about? Like I don't give a fuck about any of this shit. So you're obviously the one that's invested in this. Sure. You're the one that's losing sleep over the fact that there's no Hunter Biden investigation. I don't give a fuck. So what is my political bias?
That's exactly the point. Because you're the type of person that doesn't give a fuck about this. Your bias is to just say, until I see a smoking gun, I don't give a shit. That's literally my point.
bias is a motivation to come to some conclusion. The reason why I can say, I can wait is because I don't give a fuck.
No, that's
I
not
don't think
true.
what
Bias could take many forms. Bias just means that you're predisposed to one way of looking at things.
Right.
It could be your bias is your political ideology.
We're using different. We're using completely different definitions of bias.
Well, but here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Adam.
You give a fuck whether it happened or not. What you don't give a fuck about is it's not like if it turns out that the FBI was doing this, horrible shit, you'd be like, okay, let's do something about it.
Yeah, let's take care of business.
Right. And then if it turns out the FBI wasn't doing any horrible shit and it was all on Twitter, I was like, okay, so let's do something about it. Like in my mind, either of those worldviews are very possible to happen and could be equally likely. And so, and I don't really have I'm not really emotionally invested one way or the other on any of those outcomes.
Yeah,
let me be clear. Adam, I understand you're kind of defending, but you realize what Adam said wasn't that. Adam said, I don't give a shit about this, right? And what he means is he doesn't really give a shit.
Sitch articulated my feelings perfectly. I don't give a fuck which way this goes.
Well, I'm not losing sleep over any of the ways.
Look, you do care which way it goes.
Well, I certainly care. Absolutely, but I ain't losing sleep.
So who's invested in the outcome then?
Well, I would hope everyone who cares about our country.
Oh, now.
Oh, no, part of the
now
issue
only the people who care about the country are
and part of the issue too is that, like, if I come out and I say, oh, it's 100% likely, I think it's 100% certainty that the FBI was, telling Twitter what to do. Or if I say the opposite, oh, there's no way the FBI was telling Twitter what to do. Okay, I'm 100% certain of that. I understand that by me making those statements and by having that decision, I wouldn't trust myself to be able to accurately look at the next information that comes out regarding the story, because I've already made a decision. I've already made a public declaration.
Yeah,
and essentially that's what I see is happening with like the media reporting of the story. Is that that's why the left is like setting up this narrative of like it's a nothing burger, it's nothing burger. They're just trying to like prime everyone to see that, and it's the same way I see it with a lot of people on the right. They're just trying to prime everyone to see it in a specific way, and I just it makes it so much more difficult to figure out what's true once you've committed to the framing.
But again, like there's an opposite problem, which is sort of paralysis of opinion, because it will always be
Make it stop, Sitch.
That's cool. Look, we can end. I don't have a problem.
He's basically saying that you have to have an opinion even if you don't have the proper evidence.
Okay. So if your point is
that's not
if your point is that
position to have.
I agree that in order for politicians to do things, it requires people to be angry or to be emotional or whatever. And so, yes, if Republicans are angry and emotional about something, that will promote right-wing politicians to, do investigations. I just wish, and here I'm aspiring, and my naive aspiring to a world that doesn't exist. I just wish people could be angry in terms of, I'm angry that this isn't being looked into, and I want to get to the bottom of this, as opposed to saying, I'm angry because I already know that something is true. I just wish we could have that, but we don't. And I accept that that's the world we live in. So,
and I never said anything's 100%, right? So that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying I 100% know this. I'm saying it seems most likely, seeing what we could see, that this was the outcome. But I stand room that there could be evidence that comes that we see in the future that
right. No, I didn't say that. No, wait. I didn't say that. I wasn't saying that you say 100%. I'm saying that I understand that emotion is what propels people to do stuff about it.
And I just think that, like, it seems clear to me, and you might disagree, but it seems clear to me with the preponderance of evidence based on the current history of the FBI and scandals that they've had and what their obvious biases are, what seems most likely given the evidence we saw. And I know you guys are busy, you're not watching everything I do, but if you see, when Zuckerberg had his comment on Rogan, I specifically said when commenting on it, he didn't say they mentioned Hunter Biden's name. Right? It could be that the FBI was kind of winking and nodding like something's coming. But if he would have said Hunter Biden's name, the FBI, then I would have been like, wow, that's more damning. But that's what we see now with Yoel Roth. And so I wasn't someone that came out guns a-blazing as soon as Zuckerberg said that. And I think that I have my reasons. And I just think that the preponderance of the evidence suggests that. And the difference we have here is your bias, and I don't mean this political bias like your bias for Democrats or Republican, your bias of the way you view evidence is, well, until we see basically a near smoking gun, we're not going to take a stance on whether or not we thought this happened.
We're biased that we need evidence. Okay. Yeah, sure. I am biased.
I mean, that's
Call
one
me
way of
call me
looking at it.
biased as fuck. Yeah.
That's a way that you could try to spin it. Are you going to need Sitch to respin what you really mean once I prove this is stupid again? Is that
What do
you're
you
gonna
mean?
need?
Oh, now you're
You'll have to
now you're
respin
calling me stupid. Okay, great.
this opinion, right? Like that's not what I'm saying. That only someone that needs evidence. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there are different levels of evidence. Like Adam, did you know this? That there are different levels of courts. There are civil courts where you need a preponderance of an evidence versus criminal courts where you need beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand that, right?
Oh no, I don't. How do courts work?
Right. It's of course.
What
So
are
you wouldn't
courts?
say
Is that
That's
where
you
is
went
that where
to the
they
place
take the
that place
bad
that you would
people?
hit the neon green ball around?
Is that where they take the bad people?
Good job. So you wouldn't say that the civil courts, they don't believe in evidence. They don't believe in it. I'm biased because I believe beyond a reasonable doubt. That means the people that want the civil courts, they don't believe in evidence. That's why what you're saying.
What do you
is
think of
improper.
abductive reasoning?
Define it.
Abductive reasoning? You don't know what abductive reasoning is?
I do. I'm unfamiliar with the term.
Oh, okay. It's okay. We don't need to talk about it.
Okay.
I
so
don't think.
anyways,
Well, this is to end this because I think we're just kind of looping.
Yeah, obviously.
I do. Obviously we disagree. I don't see. I didn't make a claim about beyond reasonable doubt versus preponderance of evidence. I don't
Yes,
see
of
preponderance
course.
Of evidence at all regarding the FBI's involvement with the Hunter Biden laptop story, anything like that. You do, and so okay. But I guess thanks for coming on. I think it was an interesting conversation. It's unfortunate it kind of became a little more hostile at the end, but
Yeah, geez.
maybe
I
we'll
wish
talk
it
in
could,
the future.
I
We
wish it
didn't
could be
really
cool, but whatever.
talk about
okay.
Mar-a-Lago. I'm sure there's other things we can talk about going forward. But
yeah, I don't
Thanks
mind.
for
Thanks
coming
for
on.
having me on. I appreciate it. It's a lot of time that you guys give me, and I do appreciate it.
yeah, cool.
All right.
I'm glad you have an American flag in the background.
Thank you. Always.